So
Right.
who are they to judge anything that you do? As long as what you do and what you present is good and wholesome and is a good thing, no
Mm.
matter how weird it may be, as long as it's still a good thing, go for it. Like, express yourself, be creative, be
Mhm.
you. Don't be someone that society expects you to be. Be
Mhm.
yourself. Be a better you, absolutely, but still be you. I'm me, and I don't know any other way to be. I'd rather be myself than someone I'm not.
Right.
And depression was actually one of the biggest ones I actually help people with, and it stems from people feeling like that they're not really worth it in life, or that they're stuck, that the world's coming down
Mm.
around them, or they feel like they're not that important in life, or that they're not going to do anything important.
Mm.
I help them realize that they're more than they thought they were. And it's that sense when they have that depression, it's the sense of them
Mm.
downing themselves. Sometimes even a candlelight shining on their character of how good of a person they are and where they come from and where they may go, it's amazing how much
Yeah.
that uplifts them and lessens their depression, so long as they're
Yeah.
consistent with believing in that truth of themselves.
All right. Great. Thanks for joining me, everybody, for another episode of Define Your Purpose. And, you know, purpose is the birthplace of ideas. And joining me today is someone who's had the idea of coaching for a long time. He's been a life coach for about 17 years now, and among other experiences that really separate him out and make him one of the more unique coaches that I've run into around here. He's out of Antioch, Illinois. Um, Really proud to welcome Travis Weatherhead. Travis, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and stop. You're going to make me blush. Yeah, but I wouldn't say I was a life coach for 17 years as the main profession. It's more of that I've had 17 years worth of experience of helping people
Mhm.
because of the passion that ignited in me so long ago.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I should explain. It was from when I watched the movie for the first time, Hitch, back in when it came out with Will Smith and Kevin James. And the thing that get resonated with me is the fact I've always been the romantic type, and I've always liked the whole dating and whatnot, relationships, things,
Mhm.
wholesome heart, that kind of stuff. And I thought to myself when I saw him, like, I would love to do that for a job. I would love to help guys that have a hard time talking to women, maintaining relationships, how to be intimate, both physically and emotionally, and even in the bedroom. Like, I would love to help people. And I just want to do that. Someone told me, or a few people told me, I should say, we're saying that it's not a real profession. Me being that young back then, I took things at face value. I didn't know when this became a
Mhm.
profession. But I
Right.
didn't let that stop me because I felt people still need help in a lot of ways. And I've always been that kind of person. I want to help people. That's just how I am. So I just nonchalantly, randomly just started helping people on a consistent basis every day while doing other things in my life as well. People have come to me with problems that they have. I've helped them and whatnot. And it wasn't until like about a year ago I found out that this is a real profession. I'm thinking, my old job, I'm doing this. And again, it's like I had about 17 years worth, again, like I said before, of experience. The way that a lot of people do it, mine was different. I took the long, real world experience, scenic route, and got to this point. Like, okay, here I am, world. I'm ready to help you.
Right. Awesome. So, um, you've kind of come up with a methodology then by helping clients. Then you sort of put together um, a coaching plan from all that
I
work.
have, yes. Yes,
Awesome.
I specialize in a lot of niches. I
Hmm.
started with
Okay.
dating,
Mhm.
relationships, and the things that correlate with that, helping young men have the courage to speak to women and help them say the right thing, not something
Mhm.
that they wouldn't say themselves. It's still their words on how they what they would say. Just clean it up a little bit, make sure that kind of thing. Um,
Mhm.
and I've helped people with depression. I've helped people with anxieties. There was even a friend of mine who has a little sister. She was born mute, and after talking to her 3 times, she spoke to me. She said one word. She said "Hey," but she still spoke to me, and I think that that was the clincher that got me to think that I really want to help people because it was so
Mhm.
heartwarming and whatnot when she
Mhm.
spoke.
Wow.
It really
Yeah.
was, and it drove that spark. I'm like, you know what? I want to do this full on. I really want to help
Mhm.
people. Anxieties. I've even helped people in terms of public speaking, helping people gain the courage that they didn't know they had. Uh, I've helped
Yeah.
people find the spark that they have within them and help it grow and burn brighter in the night sky. It's so amazing how many people don't know the strength and power they really have within themselves.
Right.
It
Yeah.
saddens me,
Yeah.
but it's amazing. Like, you didn't know you could do this? Come on, let me help you. Let me show you. It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so
It's
many
true.
people are it's so many people are lost, and
Mhm.
we know life doesn't come with an instruction manual. It doesn't. But again, a lot of people don't know where to look for help, or the fact that some of them don't even know that they need help.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's been my drive.
You you get a lot of limiting beliefs that build up, I think, too, in your
Oh yeah,
over a lifetime. Yeah, you have to learn. I think you have to unlearn as much as you have to learn what is going to help you.
absolutely on that one. You're very correct. Um, it's like one of those things. Like, I don't expect to be everyone's cup of tea, you know.
Mm,
Um, and it depends on the person that I communicate with, the potential client or whoever needs help. It depends on how they are, who they are. That would help me to better help them. And not to mention,
mhm.
the
Yep.
more information they give me, the more and better I can actually help them to the fullest point of what they want and what they need. I mean, my motto is perception without context is assumption. Ask the questions and look beyond the veil for the better understanding. So, yeah, when it comes to clients on
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Awesome. So, what are some experiences in your own life that have shaped your coaching, maybe, and helped you the most? That you kind of ha- contribute now to other people that knowledge that you've picked up.
I like to take the experiences that have happened to me and use them as both a learning tool and a teaching tool. I
Mhm.
mean, when it
Right.
comes to relationships,
Mm.
intimacy,
Yeah.
romance, and even sex, I was married. I was with my ex-wife for a good long while and whatnot, and um, our marriage didn't succeed. And it wasn't through means that would be typical, like financial or anything like that. There were different reasons. But throughout my marriage, there were still things that were teaching tools because this was a first marriage. I was very young, like I was in my early 20s. We were together for a little over 4 years before we got married. But there were differences that were teaching moments that I decided to carry on. Along with the fact that, like for example, I'm an Army veteran, and with that comes with
Right.
PTSD,
Mhm.
right? I learned how to face. I learned how to face my demons, face my PTSD, and gain a better control of my life and have a much calmer demeanor, be much more at peace with the experiences I've had in the military. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. I didn't do it through
Mhm.
therapy either. I had a different method that worked for me. And I'm hoping
Mhm.
it can work for a lot of other people. Maybe far
Mhm.
fetched, but it worked. It's the things that happen to me in life and things that I have been included in the situation of that have given me the experience and the techniques and learning how to actually talk to and help people and help them solve their issues and problems, various opportunities and moments. I have a friend of mine that I've known for God the same amount of time, 17 years, who is the longest stretch of practice in my areas of expertise I've had, but I've always helped her.
Right.
Hmm.
What are some other maybe success stories that come to mind?
Okay. Well, this one's going to be a little bit more adult, but okay. Example: a couple that I knew. They were freshly engaged. They were together for a year, and they were telling me about problems that they were having in the bedroom where they were only getting physically intimate once a week. And here I'm thinking like,
Hmm,
you've been together for a year, you're freshly engaged, and you're only doing it once a week. And when I'm hearing that, when they tell me, "Oh, we're only doing it like once a week," with that kind of tone, it tells me that that's a problem, that
hmm,
they don't like that. And
hmm,
me being the fact that I was a married man, I feel like that's a problem. Like once a week,
hmm,
okay, freshly engaged, not to sound like some kind of pervy horn dog or anything like that, but with that kind of love and emotion, that wanting, that happiness, I figured they should have been going more than that.
hmm.
I
Interesting.
talked to both of them. I get to the root of the problem. Apparently, there was an issue with where one was in the mood, looking around the corner for their partner, and seeing that they're busy, they would go off and do whatever by themselves, and their partner, all of a sudden, bad timing, gets in the mood, and they would find them and see that their partner is taking care
Hmm,
of themselves for the most part. He was feeling inadequate, intimidated, whatnot, and that right there, it gave me like, oh, we have a communication problem. That's what we
hmm.
have here. Next thing you know, I told them, I had a conversation with them, told them how they can adjust certain things, whatnot. Next thing you know, they're good. They're golden.
Wow.
They're being very intimate. Their communication opened a whole lot more. They were honest with each other.
Hmm,
I gave insight on the fact that the guy, he was uncomfortable with what was being used in the situation in the bedroom, where he felt intimidated, which is a factor for a lot of men that I actually come across with in these kind of conversations, and some women who are questioning on whether they what to bring into the bedroom and whatnot. I gave them very sound advice. They're balanced and they're very intimate. Last time I checked, they were.
hmm, hmm.
So
I,
that
I
that's
like I like how you took a what would be to some people kind of a
uncomfortable.
difficult situation, a awkward thing that like how would I have me as a stranger have any correlation to what's happening between these people in their private lives? But right away you start dissecting clues from what the way it's being said and start picking up on pieces of the puzzle, I guess it sounds like, to put together a solution kind of.
I'm good at what I do. I've been doing it for 17 years. I've learned quite a few things on how to do this. But the biggest thing that I really try to do with any client that I have, I want to connect with them. I want to talk to them. I want to know who they are. If I don't know who and how they are, I don't need to know everything about their life. Like what kind of car they drive is none of my business. What their mother's name, none of my business. None of that. But the more context, like I said, the more they give me, the better I can help them. And when I let them open up to me, they talk to me, I let them trust me, and I trust them because I got to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're being completely
Mhm,
honest. But they got to have that amount of trust from me that I will not judge them. I'm not being biased. I am not
mhm,
using certain things like statistics. I'm not using politics. I'm not using religion. That's not what I believe in doing. I'm not going to use any of that. I want them to feel
mhm,
like that they are comfortable. They're a human being. Everyone goes through something. They're not alone. And I'm not going to judge them on that. They
mhm.
need to communicate with me for me to help them. And the more I know, like I said before, with the whole situation, the scenario I just mentioned, like automatically knew communication problem. You got it.
Mhm.
You like
Mhm.
when she was in the mood, like I said before, looking around the corner and she saw that he was busy. Why didn't she just approach him and talk to him and instead of just walk
Mhm.
away? Like
Mhm.
it wasn't just a communication problem. There was almost no communication.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's for me in being observant for what I do and also being in the military. I can spot a cigarette butt in 3 feet of snow. Come on, you know. Man, that's how observant I am. When
Right?
I pick up on those tones and those words, the body language from them, whatnot,
Mm.
saying how they're comfortable, whether or
Mhm.
not they're being honest or they're not being fully honest, they still have to trust me to give me that information so I can really help them. That way, I see the pieces of the puzzle
Mhm.
to
Right.
put it in to give them a solution. Because
Mhm.
granted, every situation is going to be different. The stage may be the same in various situations and scenarios, but every actor and every person on that stage is going to be different. It's going to make the situation completely different. So the more I know,
Mhm.
the more the pieces come together, the more I got them to help them out.
Right. Right.
It's how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like everybody has, a different background and they're different people, but everybody has kind of the similar levers and controls in life that, that kind of space between what happens to you and your reaction to it. I think is kind of, there's universal things like that um, that affect everybody, that once you get past the kind of the individual sort of idiosyncrasies, you can kind of help somebody see that they just have a few levers to really change and make a difference, and things are really not as complicated as they seem sometimes. It's like
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like I hate to use this comparison, but it's the one that's coming to mind right now off the top of my head. It's like driving your car that's a few years old on the highway. You hear a new noise and whatnot, like, but you think to ignore it. You don't think it's a problem until something happens and you have someone come and help you with the problem that you're having.
Mhm.
And you're right. One little, like those little levers, little levers, little adjustments, whatnot. It's like that
Mhm.
missing lug nut or whatever in the car that would make it work so much better.
Right.
And like I said
Mhm.
before, life doesn't
Mhm.
come with an instruction manual. We're
Mhm.
here to help people with that. It's like, and not to mention the
Yeah.
certain things in lives that are, complicated for people. It's not like the help that they need is massively advertised.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I, I think that's part of the power of reading too, that you can pick up other people's experiences, and it's almost like direct pipeline to their consciousness, and at some points.
by the way, I like the ceiling background color purple swirl thing you got going on. It looks like it's floating. I don't know what that is, but that looks pretty
Oh,
cool. I like that.
it's like a kid's nightlight from Amazon, I found.
Sets an ambiance for a night. It's actually nice. I like
Yeah.
that. But anyways,
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to. Some people say it's kind of soothing.
distraction.
Yeah, and other times it'll be distraction. So I don't know.
Oh no, it is it's soothing. It reminds me of when I was a kid and I used to watch the show called Captain Simi and the Space Monkeys. There were
Okay.
oftentimes it was a running gag line, strangely soothing.
That's funny. It made you think of that.
Made you feel a little nostalgic there.
Yeah, yeah, maybe start thinking about some old cartoons and stuff like that.
Hey, I always say try to reminisce a little of your youth every day. Because
Mm. Yeah,
believe it or not, I'm 40.
I like that. Mm.
And I
Mm.
keep I keep hearing people tell me, "You look like you're 30. You sound like you're 30." I'm like, probably because I keep in touch with my
Mm.
younger self.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. definitely. I think it's important to let yourself play, and have fun.
Oh, come on. You can't tell me that if you saw a group of guys seeing something that a game that they played when they were kids, they would kid out right there without if they weren't going to be judged, they would kid out right there.
Yeah.
You know they would. Come on. We're
Yeah.
grown men, but we're big kids. Come
Mhm.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's when we start worrying about what other people think, that's when we put all the restrictions on, and we have to act a certain way, and all that terrible stuff happens.
Very true. That's actually a big thing in my profession. I come across with a lot of people. It's that
Mm,
fear factor.
mm,
It's that they're afraid
yeah.
of being judged. They're afraid of being discriminated against or whatever.
Mhm,
But here's something I try to tell people. You realize that they themselves probably have things that they do that would be considered strange. So that's
mhm,
one foot they
mhm,
don't have to stand on. And number
right.
two, you came into this world the same way they did,
Mm, yeah.
supposedly. You're standing on the very same ground you are. It's not like that they're standing on the roof or like floating in the air like 50 stories high as if they're above everyone.
Right,
So
right.
who are they to judge anything that you do? As long as what you do and what you present is
Mm,
good and wholesome and is a good thing, no
mm.
matter how weird it may be, as long as it's still a good thing, go for it. Like, express yourself, be creative, be
Mhm,
you. Don't be someone that society expects you to be. Be
mhm.
yourself. Be a better you, absolutely, but still be you. I'm me, and I don't know any other way to be. I'd rather be myself than someone I'm not,
Yeah, yeah,
because it's a
for
lie,
sure.
it's an illusion. And that's something I actually try to help people out too on a lot of things. Like, I don't know
Mm,
how I should be. Be
mhm,
yourself. If you need help discovering that, then I could probably help you out with that. So it's a lot of things.
mhm, right. Yeah, I think confidence is a common thread that, a lot of people struggle with. This talk about imposter syndrome and everything. Is that something you help clients with often?
Talking about the identity crisis or that kind of thing.
Just confidence, self confidence.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the biggest things I actually deal with because one of the greatest factors I had to deal with in when I was helping young men having be able to talk to women and get relationships and things like that was the fact of them not approaching the woman that they find that they have a fancy for and actually talking to them. They're just standing there like, like a garden statue. What do I do? Oh gosh, she's beautiful. Oh my god. I look at them like, okay, go talk to her. What
Mhm.
do I say? Start with hi and go from there. It's the worst thing that a woman could say is no. Well, actually, it might be more nowadays, but the worst thing that they could potentially say is no. And that
Mhm.
shouldn't be something that guys are afraid of. So yeah, a lot of his confidence,
Mhm.
confidence issues on performing and speaking in front of a crowd. There's
Mhm.
a lot of
Right.
people with confidence issues, and yeah,
Mhm.
I get a lot of that too. It's it's a big roller coaster for a lot of different people, and the twists and turns are different, but it does boil down to a lot of individuals having a confidence problem.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So what are some other sorts of common issues that maybe you help clients with these days?
Oh, a lot of okay, people I've helped out with are careers
Mm,
that they're not happy in
yeah,
their profession at all and whatnot, and I
mhm,
help them find the best career path that would be tremendous for them. I make sure that they
mm,
know
awesome.
that it's not about the money that you make doing what you do.
Mm,
You can set whatever you want. If you're doing it freelance, you can set whatever price you want. It's about fulfilling that part of yourself that you knew you wanted to do something when you were a kid. Because when I was
mm,
younger, this
mm,
is what I wanted to do. I was a kid in a sense. I was in my 20s, but considering the fact I'm 40 years old now, I can look at myself and go like, yeah, I was a kid. So let's just go based on that on an age thing. But the the fact of the matter is that a lot of us, when we're kids, we are inspired by something in our youth, right? Like
Sure.
some people reading comic books, which is a great inspiration for the youth to be better and good people, regardless of what people say. Like, I'm sorry, but it's a good teaching tool for kids. It really is. Like they wanted to be some kind of hero, right?
Hmm. Right.
They,
Right.
when we're kids, we're thinking superhero, cool costume, awesome
Mhm.
power, flying in the sky. Oh, I'm gonna beat the bad guy, yeah! Like a new age Superman, if you will. But when we get older, we realize that that's not exactly how it works. Can people still
Sure.
become a hero? Oh yeah, there's
Mhm.
several
Mhm.
venues. You can become
Mhm.
a police officer. You can become a doctor. You can become a fireman. You could be emergency response team. You could um, work on a ship cruise to, help prevent certain accidents. There's so many things that people can do.
Mhm.
It's about finding what they have a passion for and what they're talented in and helping them find that career. I've helped them with that.
Mhm. Mhm.
I've helped people in terms of, like I said before, like anxieties. I've helped people with social
Mhm.
anxieties before.
Mhm.
I am limited though. There have been certain individuals I have actually tried to help, but I could not because I didn't have the expertise or the area to do so. I'll give an example. When I was truck driving, I was a lead driver for the first company I worked for. After about like 10 months worth of driving, I had a student who didn't bother telling me because, as I said, it would have been better to know had she told me this. But apparently, she was dyslexic. I didn't know this at the time. She didn't disclose that information. And I'm supposed to teach her how to do this job as a lead driver for truck driving. Opposite, like she, like left and right dyslexic, like turning the wheel in the opposite direction it has to go. She was having a difficult time
Mhm.
reading
Wow.
messages
Mhm.
that were coming in through the truck computer. And when I noticed that it was taking her a long time to read something, I'm thinking, are you dyslexic by chance? And she didn't know she was. She said she has a hard time reading. She has to read the same sentence over and over again to make sure
Mhm.
that what she wrote, what she read was correct. The left and right turns and whatnot.
Mhm.
I couldn't teach her. I didn't have the expertise to try to train her. I did try and helping her on a few things, but I didn't. I
Mhm.
had to get a hold of my driving manager and let him know, I'm like, hey, you got to give her a new lead driver because I can't teach someone who's dyslexic. They went, oh, go ahead and try anyway. Like, you realize this is a semi truck, right? And we're in on the open road.
Right.
I'm sitting here like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age going, no thanks, I choose life. Get her someone else that has the area of expertise that can teach her because I can't. So I don't pretend to
Mhm.
be able to help anyone with anything. No,
Mm.
everyone
Mhm.
has limitations. So I've had difficult ones. I've had
Mm.
various different individuals come to me for a certain kind of problem. And if I can't help them, I let them know I can't help you. I'm not good at this. I don't want to lie to them and have them waste their time, but I'm more than happy to refer them to someone that will help them.
Yep.
That's how I do it. So yeah, I get
Good.
confidence
Yep.
issues. I get a
Mhm.
lot of things.
Mhm. Right. So, what's your average engagement look like? I mean, do you offer like a 12-week package or what's your
Well, the first thing I
typical?
do, well, the first thing I do is that as long as the client wants to get in touch with me, I give them a free consultation call or a free discovery call. I'm sorry, discovery call.
Mhm.
And what it is that I let them tell me what their issue is. I want them to tell me about themselves, where they're at, what they're doing, basic introductory type thing and whatnot. And providing that there is enough time, depending on how much they want to tell me, I can give them a few examples of how I've handled the situation that they're in, and offer them the package that I have. Now, I
Okay.
do packages like there's like a smaller, middle, and a bigger one. Obviously,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
want people to be helped. What they can afford. So I
Yeah.
do that. But the first call is
Yeah.
always a free
Mhm.
consultation one. That way,
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm wasting their time, and they're not going to waste my time. I want to make sure I'm actually able to help them.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I want to do. I'm like, you know what? I want
Sure.
to make sure. Now, that's, of course, that's as it's starting out.
Okay. Right. So do you come up with a custom coaching plan for each client depending on what they're coming to
Oh,
you for, I guess?
oh, yes, yes,
Mhm,
absolutely. It has to be a customized one because, again, like I've said this before, like the stage may be the same in certain situations, but the characters in the situation is going to be different. So it has to be complex and customized for the client.
mhm,
That's why the
mhm.
more they tell me, the more and better I can help them. The more
Yeah.
context they provide me, I can customize it much better.
Okay.
It really
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah.
But I do make sure that they know that it's not a 100% guarantee because I can't
Mm.
predict what someone's going to say or what someone's going to do in the situation.
Mhm. Mhm.
Based on what they tell me, the information that they give me, I can't I don't know what they're going to say. I can give you the ideas and on what possibly may occur, but the outcome may be completely different.
Right.
I make sure that they know that.
Right. Right. So, I mean, what do your clients, you said, come to you for help with dating and career. Do I have all the coaching types here? Do I, in
Well,
your,
I
if we're going to
well I
list, I want to make sure we're not missing anything.
no, it's good. It depends. That's the problem with like categorizing niches. For
Mm,
we
yeah.
think that we want to condense it into like just a few, so it doesn't look so like a job application long like series of choose one type thing like maybe medical conditions. But again, I've mentioned the anxieties, social anxieties, help people with
Mhm,
depression.
mhm. Right.
And depression was actually one of the biggest ones I actually help people with, and it stems from people feeling like that they're not really worth it in life, or that they're stuck, that the world's coming down
Mm,
around them, or they feel like they're not that important in life, or that they're not going to do anything important.
mm,
I help them realize that they're more than they thought they were. And it's that sense
mm,
when they have that depression, it's the sense of them
mm,
downing themselves. Sometimes even a candlelight shining on their character of how good of a person they are and where they come from and where they may
mm.
go, it's amazing how much
Yeah.
that uplifts them and lessens their depression, so long as they're
Yeah.
consistent with believing in that truth of themselves. It's
Mhm.
helped a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find that you have to draw a line between therapy and coaching?
I choose, yeah, yes and no. What I've found, and I believe it was someone in particular that mentioned this to me before, that would be you from before, where apparently, like, well, working hand in hand with other psychiatrists and therapists and whatnot, you said it best, and I'm carrying that with me. I'm using your quote on this one,
Okay.
where their help ends, ours begin.
Mm,
So yeah, there's a
mm,
little bit of therapy in there, just a little bit, but it's more so helping them connect their heart and soul with their mental state and their mind, their critical thinking.
mm,
It's about giving the heart behind the decisions that they want to make it more wholesome and moral, to help them to learn whether or not that it's not really exactly if it's a smart idea or a dumb idea. It's more so, is it a good idea or a bad idea?
mm.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
really correlate
Yeah.
with intellect too much,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
people can do something stupid for a very good and moral reason. Very
Mhm.
good and moral. So it was maybe stupid as in intellectually, but the action itself was a good thing.
Right.
There's a fine line between being a life coach and therapy, yes,
Mhm.
but at the same time, you don't necessarily have to divide it. You can
Mhm.
find that merging it can work so much better
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you help them, when I help individuals empower their inner strength to help it grow and whatnot, it combines with their logical thinking of how therapists would mainly have them go about. and helps
Mhm.
empower the good feeling of the good decisions they make, helping them feel that they are worth it, that they're more than they realize, helping them to understand that there is intelligence and there is emotion and they don't have to be separate. You can connect them. So,
Mhm.
drawing the line, not necessarily, but at the same time, it is situation pending. It really does depend on who I'm talking to.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, I feel like, some people almost don't know what it's like to have someone in their life who really believes in them, and maybe they had a teacher at one time, or,
Or maybe
you
the Breakfast Club school janitor giving them like sound
yeah,
advice.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I actually I consider myself to I consider the situation with every client in the terms of have you ever you're familiar with the Divine Comedy, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
Dante's Inferno.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
them being Dante, I'm more like Virgil,
mm,
powerful and strong in my own right, but I'm not the hero of this story. This is their
mhm,
journey.
right.
The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the torch and I'm going to help light their path and help guide them. Whether they choose to walk that path is up to them.
Mhm, right.
And granted, the path may come with some curveballs that might occur that they didn't that they did not account for, but
Mhm,
at least they'll be better prepared and they'll be able to handle it, especially if they ask for the help that they want, and if they want the advice from me, they ask it, I give it, they follow through. The bump in the road wasn't so bumpy. But
right.
again, it depends on the person.
Mhm, yeah.
I didn't mean to ramble there.
No,
If
it's
I
all
did,
good. It's all good. I mean, I was kinda thinking about it. Made me think of, goals, and setting goals in your life, and the power of that, and, helping other people do that. What's been your experience with that?
as far as help, you talking about how it's been for helping people, period?
Yeah, or what have you noticed about that? Do the people you talk with have goals, and is that something you help people with, and what kind of difference have you seen that it makes?
I do help people that have certain goals that they want to set up as well. What I've done with them is I've gotten a list of what I've gotten to know what their goal is. The list, what steps need to be taken, and a lot of times they try to deter because like, oh, it's going to take so long to do. I'm like, well, yeah, but no one ever said you only have to do one at a time. If you see okay, if you have a list of goals to, or if you have a list of steps, I'm sorry, yeah, list of steps, and to get to the main goal right here at the bottom, they may be numbered, but if you can knock three or four at the same time and they would get done within, okay, say like a first step, I'm doing step
Mhm,
one, right? And there's something I could do, like if there's like 20 steps to get to that one goal. I'm doing step one, but steps three, eight, and maybe 12 can be done at the same time. I can start step five and it could be done by the time I have to do step 10, kind of thing. There's ways
mhm,
to work around it to where it doesn't feel so outstretched
mhm,
with the goals that they want to set and the steps they want to take. The only thing that's hard is them taking the first step towards the goal they want to reach.
mhm,
It takes a little bit of a nudge,
mhm,
but when they and most of the time where people like want to follow those steps, to reach the goal, it's a lot of hesitation because they're afraid that it might not work. So it's more so of giving them encouragement, the
mhm,
steps that they want to accomplish, and help them accomplish those steps, and teach them on how they can do two or three things at once without it hurting their time. By the way,
mhm.
um, and going from there.
Okay, great.
There's more to it, but and like I'm not going to tell all my secrets. Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah. Of course, of course. Well, if someone's looking to, get a hold of you, then, I know you're on your LinkedIn here. Where else could people look to find you, or how should they get a hold of you?
Well, I have a business Facebook profile of the same name, actually.
Hmm,
TW Reboot Life Coaching. That's the name. It's T.W. Reboot Life Coaching. They can
nice.
get a hold of me on LinkedIn. They can get a hold of me on Facebook without really any issue. I do have a professional email if they want to reach out to me that way too.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
If you want to,
Caps lock TWRLC.84 at yahoo.com.
okay,
All
awesome.
caps lock. If there's only one decimal, the dot 84, and except for the dot com, of course. But hey, that's a given.
Okay, okay. We'll have it in the description too
Oh, cool.
for this episode, so that'll help. Um, so is there anything else that you wanted to maybe discuss about your coaching, or are there any thoughts you had in mind that you wanted to maybe leave us with for the day, or
Sure. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Like you've gotten to know me quite a bit before we schedule this and whatnot, and you said that you've never met anyone like me or seen a coach like me before. Um, the fact of the matter is that again, I may not be everyone's cup of tea, but everyone needs a little bit of help. Everyone needs some, and I'm more than willing. Give it a chance, see what I can do, and see the results for yourself. So
right?
that's pretty much on that one. But again, like, and it's kind of the long list of niche things. I didn't expect it to turn out that way. It's just I've been put into the situations to where I manned up and dealt with the situation, help people and whatnot, and just become an additional gear and the whole clockwork of what I do
Mm,
or
nice.
how I do it, I should
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
And again, I want people to feel like that they can actually talk to me without being judged because
Mm,
I'm
mhm,
not biased. I'm not going to judge them. I don't use politics. I don't use religion, and I don't use statistics. I refuse to use
mm,
statistics as a subjective matter. Will not, because these are things that are based on opinions, and everyone knows that an opinion can change on the drop of a dime. People who want to talk to me, I hope that they will feel comfortable and will actually share. And the more that they share with me, the more that they tell me, the more I can help them.
right. Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
And oh yes, yeah, and I also represent the Nordic Viking style because it's I don't know if it's worth noting. I don't know if you want to keep it in here or whatnot, but being part Nordic, actually, it's in my bloodline, and I'm embracing that part of my heritage more and more. I don't live in Norway. I'm not going to claim to be a Scandinavian Viking. No, but it's more recognition and embracing that part of myself and bringing that part of me out. And the reason why I do
Mhm,
that is because it's worth noting that the Scandinavians and the Vikings were the pioneers of world travel,
mm,
world connection, and if
yeah,
it hadn't been
yeah,
for them,
yeah.
this wouldn't be possible.
Mm,
So I took a page out of their book, out of my ancestors' book, and thought, why not be a pioneer on a young profession that is still growing
yeah,
and be one of the people that can actually, change the world a little bit.
yeah.
And one
Right
person
on.
is an entire world.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I like to say when we walk with purpose, we collide with destiny.
Well, that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing, Carl. For the longest time in my life, I always felt like that there was something important I had to do. I didn't think it was like some kind of world saving thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. Now, I'm not going to put myself on that high of a pedestal. No, no. I'm not that arrogant or condescending. I'm very modest, as you know. It's more so the fact that this feeling that I'm supposed to do something. I just didn't know what.
Mm,
All this time, I've been doing the thing
awesome.
that I felt like I
Yeah,
was supposed to do. Now when I found out that this was a profession, because this again, it's not exactly widely advertised, really isn't, or shown like, hey, are
mhm,
you looking for a
mm,
job to be a life coach? I never saw it. I never did.
mhm,
But the fact that it's here and now, and I'm taking the step to progress forward and really help a lot more people. Um, I lost my train of thought because I got caught up in the moment. I'm
No, that's
sorry, but
awesome.
still,
That's
it's
awesome.
just it's
That's great.
it's a heartfelt thing when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
discovering that that important thing that I felt like I was supposed to do, or
Mhm,
that I was
mhm.
meant to do.
Yeah,
You're talking
yeah,
about destiny, and that's
yeah.
when it all connected together. And when I was
Mhm.
given the ball I needed to roll with, and the information and knowledge on that this is something I can do fully, I'm ecstatic. And it felt like
Awesome.
that whole connection. It felt like the planets aligning within me. Like this was my purpose. All
Wow.
right. So yeah, it really is
Wow.
interesting on how it does
Great.
collide with destiny. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm really good at what I do, and I'm just yeah, I feel I'm meant to do this, and I want to.
Awesome.
I have a passion for it. It's my drive.
That's great. That's great. Thanks so much for taking the time today, Travis, Roy. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you, Karl.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up again soon.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. We're gonna have another one at another time, but I
Cool.
will talk to you another time. You go do what you need to do, buddy.
Okay.
And I'll
Take care.
wait until the whole logout thing. I'm sure you stop recording at this point. You'll probably edit this out.